Stop.
Oh boy.
Oh boy's right, Clarkey. Here we are. I'm sorry to do this to you, brother.
Yeah, sure you are.
Man, things are awful testy in Leafland right now, and
Good
we
way
got
to
to
put
dig right into it. We got a great guest here, the site manager and lead reporter for the Hockey News covering the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's coming at us right now, live on location from Climate Pledge, Leafs in Seattle. Ladies and gentlemen, David Alter. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. The weather is, you know what? It's rainy,
Typical.
but it's a lot more tolerable than it is back home. That's for sure.
You got that
Yeah,
right. And I just want to announce too, Ryan, another junior hockey alum, you know, with Gentili and all the guys. Another one right here, David Alter. We go back a long way.
Well, and David, Leafs Nation, is very familiar with you and your work. And obviously that work right now is surrounding a team that has a lot of question marks around it, man. What an awful 5-game homestand. You're there with them on the start of this West Coast swing through Seattle and the 3 Canadian Western teams. What is the mood like around this team right now, David?
Yeah, I mean, after games, it's certainly down. They do seem to do a pretty good job when talking to them the next day, looking a little bit more upbeat. But I mean, the message has been the same, where they know they can be better. They show spurts where they have been, but they've just been not consistent. And I don't know why that is. They don't seem to kind of know why that is. The urgency comes in spurts and then it disappears again. And it's funny because at the end of December, we were talking about how it looked like they were done and they go on this crazy run, get back into a playoff spot after a big win against Colorado to begin 2026. And then it's right back to everything kind of being back down. So the mood is better than you would expect, but certainly when you talk to them after games, they're pretty down about where things are, but also just trying to reflect positivity, which is it's hard to do right now.
So do you notice a considerable difference in their they went I don't know,
8-0-2.
8-0-2, and then they just tanked the last 5 at home. Do you notice a difference talking to the guys? You're there in the room with them. You're talking to them every day. I mean, I didn't like the way Max Domi set up the game before the Vegas game. It's just another game. No, it wasn't just another game. You could see it in the Vegas team. They came out pumped, and the Leafs didn't. I don't like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Max has always had a certain way of answering things like that, where he's, like if you ask him for like some of the fine details of certain things, he'll always just kind of say that they'll keep those things in house. So I'm not surprised to hear that. But when you talk to some of the other players, particularly off camera, they do get it. Like someone like Scott Lawton is brutally honest about where the team is at in terms of what they have to do to kind of push things forward. And I think that there's just this feeling that if they allow negativity in their answers to kind of get through, then maybe they'll feel that and they don't want to let that into their psyche. It's part of how they feel they approach things as professionals. So whether it comes off as disingenuous or not, they really do feel like they've got to push things forward and project an air of positivity, because if they let themselves go through a downward spiral, then maybe they can't get back from it. And I think it's just talking to these guys, they don't know another way. And maybe they need to be a little bit more derogatory in how they feel about things to kind of show that emotion. We just don't get to see it on a regular basis.
We're chatting with the chief Toronto Maple Leafs correspondent and reporter for the Hockey News, David Alter, live in Seattle. David, when you consider that as part of this 5-game homestand, I've got the number in front of me. The Leafs, over their last 8 games heading into tonight's contest in Seattle, they've given up 35 even strength goals over an 8-game span for the first time since October and early November of 1990. There's a lot of stats flying around. There always are when the Leafs are playing poorly, it seems. Here's the only one that really matters, and it's that they're in last place in the division heading into tonight. When you consider all of that, and Craig Berube looking more and more forlorn every night that goes by, seemingly with every shift that goes by, the big point of talk here in Leafland right now, and I know you hear it too, David, do the Leafs need to be sellers? Are they fully out on being able to compete this season? Do they need to sell?
Yeah, I do think that they need to be open to selling for sure. And like, I understand if you feel like this could be like a down year where you still believe in some of your pieces and you're just not getting the results. But I mean, the numbers that you pointed out, like the number one thing to me is the NHL has advanced stats with tracking that we've not really seen before. And according to the NHL Edge site, they're 32nd in offensive zone possession time. Like, they're dead last. Like, that says everything about the team this year. This was a team that used to be able to push the pace of play, always stay in the offensive zone. And then you could kind of argue, oh, well, maybe they're just unlucky here and there. But it's why they've been a playoff team consistently for the last 9 years. That's really what it came down to. So, yeah, they do have to be open to it. They do have to kind of look at, okay, if they're not going to be able to climb up, and they kind of stock the cupboard up. They've given up a lot of mid first round picks, and they don't have a lot for the future there that maybe you can kind of sell a piece to kind of load up on draft picks. Like, an example I look at is what the Vancouver Canucks got for Kiefer Sherwood. Like, there's 2 second-round picks there. If someone comes around and offers you 2 second-round picks for Bobby McMahon, who's a UFA at the end of the year, that's good asset management if you can kind of get it. And they kind of have to be open to those things. The other thing is, I also talked to Nick Watt today. He was on that Vegas Golden Knights team that missed the playoffs, and they went through a lot of injuries. And the year before, they won the Stanley Cup. And, he kind of drawed on the comparables that you can miss the playoffs, still be a good team, and have all these things you kind of go through, and still come back with some other pieces that you can find and be better the following year. So they certainly have to be open to that and open to the reality of their situation. And what I'm gathering from management is they are a little bit more open to that than maybe the last time we talked to Brad Treliving, where he wasn't throwing in the towel on the season.
I'm sort of, up to a year and a half ago, I was an apologist for Morgan Riley. I liked him, but he has been awful. It's time. Do you think there's any way that you can see them going to him and saying, Morgan, we're trading you or we're sitting you?
I don't know if they would ever get to the point of sitting him in that regard, like in an ultimatum. I think the reality is, as bad as he's been at times this year, and certainly there have been flashes of that, I don't think he's been their 7th best to the point where they would actually go in that regard. But here's the other thing with that too. Even if he's open to it, you have to be really creative with the money there. He's signed till 2030. And if he's not a mid D pair guy for another team, how much are you willing to absorb for that many more years just to replace the spot you would kind of be putting him into anyway? Now, if another team was looking to unload an elite A-level defenseman, and part of that conversation is, can you eat this the other way while you're rebuilding? Sure. I just don't know if that situation is a reality for the Maple Leafs. So they don't want to do wrong by him. Certainly they'll have to have those conversations if they haven't had them already. And at that point, it's where can he kind of be situated where it kind of works best and the Leafs can free up space, because it's a $7 million contract for many more years. And yeah, the cap is going up, so maybe you can justify it in the latter couple of years of the deal for another team. But you really have to make sure what you're replacing is better. and that you're freeing up enough space that what you do with that space will actually make you a better team as well.
While we're on the specific guys who we may look at trading here, what about the threesome in net? Like, do you see any way that they're ready to make Hill to be a full-time NHLer and trade, I would think, Stolarz?
It's such a tough.
I know.
Here's the
because
thing about
wherever the guy goes, he's gonna like be a brick wall.
Yeah.
He will be.
Here's the thing I'll say about
Ryan.
I'll just say this thing. I can't recall a situation where a team has extended a player and within the same year moved them before the contract even kicks in. That's I can't see that. I think that would kind of look bad. It would also look like a decision in haste because Anthony Stolar's maximum value was before this season when there were teams lined up to try and get someone like this. That I think if you move someone like this now, the return's not going to be great, and it's going to be very damning to the general manager who signed it. So it's a lose-lose proposition to kind of move him right now and make that declaration. Plus, as much as they like Hildeby and what they've seen from him right now, I don't know if they're 100% convinced that he can handle a tandem workload. A lot of the problem this season is that they just haven't had the full tandem of Wall and Stolarz together. And so one has been asked to play a lot more than the other while waiting for the other, and both have suffered as a result. And even with Stolarz gone and Wall performing well, then they didn't lean on Hildeby a lot more because they felt when they started leaning on him, it was a problem. So I don't know. Unless someone comes at you with a really good return that's going to help you in the short term, I don't see them making any move in goal. I could be completely way off on that, but I think the tandem that they have right now is what they have until one of these two guys goes on a run and someone at the deadline is ready to throw you a huge haul that you have to say yes to.
Yeah, it's an interesting pickle that they find themselves in because, Wall would be the guy that has the most value, even given the health concerns that he has, but he's younger and his ceiling looks to be a little higher at times. And David, you referenced this. We put it up a couple minutes ago for our listeners that aren't familiar with these advanced sport logic stats. The Leafs NHL ranks in shots, they're last. Slot shots given up, 32nd. Rush chances allowed on defense, 32nd. They're 31st in cycle chances. They're 29th in expected goals against, and they rank 30th in goals allowed per game. Now, you referenced that Golden Knights team. They didn't look like this that year that they were all banged up. Now, I want to ask you, when you look at stats like this, David, and you think about the sell mentality that this front office might have to take on, I'm curious who you think are guys that are untouchable that the Leafs should not entertain moving.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. When you look at numbers like that, I think you kind of have to look at everything on the table. Now, there's going to be guys who are untouchables because they're cornerstone players, or they have no moves, or they look at everything that they look at. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that you can kind of leave anything on the table, but at the same time, you don't want to sell while the times are bad and then the return looks bad. Like we talk about Austin Matthews, right? Cornerstone player, captain of the team. Numbers have trailed off a little bit. He's not quite where he was 2 years ago. Do you really want to be that team that moves him and then he gets back to those numbers and you're really regretting that for years to come? William Nylander, could be a huge asset for another team if he can get over these health injuries too. But how much what are you getting back in that regard? So I don't know if there's any untouchables when you look at numbers like that, because yeah, that's a bad team. Like a lot of times when the Leafs were struggling, they could always point to how many points back and they're right there. There's nothing underlying suggesting that they're going to get better than where they are right now. So I can't think of anyone who's untouchable right now if the Hall coming back radically shifts the team to better results here.
You do kind of harken back to a time like I can recall, back in 2011, 2012, when Paul Holmgren, the then general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers, made that Mike Richards trade. And that eventually led to Jeff Carter also being moved out to Columbus, ends up in LA by way of the Blue Jackets. And I remember Paul Holmgren saying to the local reporters there, I don't know if this will make us better, but it will make us different. And you wonder, looking at this team, like Austin Matthews and William Nylander, obviously, David, that is a whole other level of scenario that we would be looking at here. I'm curious your take on this. A common complaint I hear from some Leaf fans when it comes to Matthews specifically, because he's the captain now, and Nylander, is that they're not intense enough. They don't take ownership enough for the playoff failures, and they don't have that dog in them, if you will, as the kids say. Is Matthews the right leader for this franchise, not only through this turbulent time, but going forward?
I think it's still to be determined. I think he could be. Do I think that Austin Matthews can do a better job of taking ownership when responding to some of these things? He probably could use a little bit more I instead of we when reflecting on that stuff. I don't know if that's just a personality trait or if that's just him not wanting to single himself out compared to the other team or the rest of the team. But I do see where you're coming from with that. With William Nylander, I actually like how William Nylander has performed in the playoffs for years. But here's the one thing. The question is valid, and I think time is running out on that because last year was all about, well, it's Mitch Marner, right? Like there is going to be enough different because the core four is going to be obliterated because Marner's gone. Where now Marner's gone, they didn't really replace what he brought from a regular season standpoint, and everything else is kind of the same. So there's kind of like the worst of everything going on with the Leafs right now in that regard, that it's kind of hard to judge based on this because the tools really haven't been there. Everything's can kind of mashed up together, and you have questions that maybe don't have enough sample size because it's been 2/3 of a season and really it's been a transition year in terms of trying to keep what you liked about the previous generation, but trying to change the grit and all that other stuff that you didn't have before. And what you're seeing is nothing is working as a result of that. So it's hard to say. I think they could be, but they haven't proved it yet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We can't blame the loss of Marner on everything that's happened this year, in my mind. Like,
not when they're 32nd, Clark.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not because Mitch Marner's gone. Are these guys just definitely on the downturn of their career? Or, like, what do we blame? What I know you'd be a genius if you knew the answer, but what do you think?
Well, look, I mean, the Marner thing to one degree is if you're trying to do everything for the best, to get the best out of Austin Matthews, you don't have, with the exception of a small sample size of Max Domi on his right side, you don't have a proven guy on his other side. Now, you can make that question or you can make the argument that Austin Matthews should be able to elevate anybody that he plays with. But when he was so used to playing with someone like Mitch Marner for so long, and he doesn't have an elite winger on the other side, there's an adjustment period, and that's led to maybe some of those struggles there. So it's really tough to say, like in terms of just that being a factor. But the thing is, they didn't change things up enough. All they did was take one elite player who played all facets of the game: power play, penalty kill, even strength, and was such a big part of Austin Matthews' career. And they just kind of did it by depth, but they're missing that top six kind of threat, an elite player that's in there, and they didn't really improve anything else because they didn't have a lot of space. So there is a failure there in that regard. And so could we have seen this coming? Sure, but there's not enough different, and maybe there needs to be enough different. And they're going to come to a realization sooner or later. It's just a matter of when is that point that they're going to realize that the numbers are actually equaling what we see right now and that the team's just not good enough.
So on the note of that being a failure, David, I have to ask then, if they end up missing the playoffs, which looks highly likely, I believe the betting odds today, as we record this on Thursday, January 29th. And that's the thing here too. I feel bad for you, Clarkey. We're not talking about US Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas anymore. It's the end of January here. And if they end up missing, is this going to cost Brad Treliving his job, David?
I think so. I mean, I think there's a lot at stake right now when it comes to
should it
the
should it cost him his job?
I think yes and no, and I'll give you why I'm weighing on both.
Okay.
So yes, because the results suggest that he should. He made these moves. He's got to take ownership for a lot of the moves that happened this offseason, for sure. The other part to that, though, is that this is a weird transition year for the team. It feels like there's more of an appetite to kind of change what this fundamental organization looks like in 2026, like when Rogers closes the full sale of MLSC. Right now they own 75%, but soon they're going to own 100, right? And then at that point, they can kind of change everything. And Keith Pelly is the CEO of MLSC, but he took on that job months before Rogers took on a bigger stake, and who could be running everything in a very short period of time can change. So, I feel like if he was kind of granted some security to kind of do the things that maybe you need to do long term, that maybe for living would be able to have the runway to do it. But he's already replaced the head coach. He's made these changes. And outside of some of the other moves to retain guys, there's a lot that goes here. You just hired a new head coach. I don't know if changing the head coach should fall on the GM. And because of that, that's probably why he probably will fall on this. But I think so much has changed above him in a short period of time with Keith Pelly, with the ownership of the team, with Brendan Shanahan hiring him, and then kind of the org chart changing. It's kind of an unfair spot, but I mean, that comes with the territory of being the GM of the Maple Leafs in a corporate structure that maybe he didn't get the runway. Like the other thing too is he didn't, like the whole Mitch Marner thing. He couldn't get anything out of him because it wasn't his call. He was hired a month before the no move kicked in, and at that point, Brendan Shanahan kind of made the whole thing that the core is not going anywhere.
Correct.
And so it's not fair for that to fall on him, which is why it's a bit of a mess for the tenure that it's such a mixed answer, because on the surface of it, yes, but there are things that were kind of beyond his control to begin with.
The one thing I like about you, Alter, is you find different ways to slide in certain words. And before we let you go, you slid in the word appetite. We have to ask you about your media meal surveys and how you go about your media meals. And if you don't follow David Alter on, is it TikTok?
Yeah, I do it on my Instagram now too, David Alter 35. I have them on both now.
Okay, so the Leafs moved up to like 12th or 13th. Where is Seattle? What are you expecting tonight in Seattle?
So Seattle is perennially a top 5 media meal here for a couple of reasons.
Hey.
It's a lot. And it's free, which I love.
Nice.
So there's that. But today we saw that there was some pho that's going to be served here, which I've not ever had as a media meal. It's like it's a special night, so someone's come in and catered and brought that in. It's not going to be till 4:30 Pacific time, so I guess 7:30 your time. But so I'm excited for that. But the only criticism I have for that is the lineup, because the entire staff of the entire building, you could be waiting a long time before you get your food, as opposed to just a separate area. You know what? The quality and free, that gets it up there. It's been a tough,
for sure. Free 99 is the best price.
Yeah, it's but like I just started doing it because I'm on the road a lot, and I thought
fun,
like
man. It's fun.
A lot of people like seeing the behind the scenes stuff, so I try to bring that to them.
Yep. Definitely. I
We love
tried
it.
to show everyone my dinner every night, but I got tired of looking at pierogies. What's the feel in Seattle with the Seahawks?
You know what? I honestly don't know. We got
Okay.
in late. We got in late last night. That I see signage for it for sure. That people are excited and happy. But you know
Mhm.
what? This city and the team they're playing against, Boston, they're so spoiled by success. Like that, they've just had all that other stuff that they're just kind of like, whatever. Like it's all good. Like
Yeah.
I mean, certainly unexpected for both teams, but yeah, it's just as the weather kind of suggests here. It's just kind of like
Mhm.
we'll wait to it. I think that fever will hit up next week when it gets
Yeah.
closer.
Well, remind them that the Jays beat the Mariners.
Oh, I
Yeah.
will definitely not be doing that.
Yeah, don't do that. Stay safe and enjoy the media meal, okay?
Yes.
And David, like follow him on social media at David Alter on Twitter. Stay connected to the Leafs. You're one of the best out there. David, go enjoy that Seattle coffee. Maybe adopt a little bit of that Allison Chains Soundgarden attitude. Give it to the Leafs tonight for Clarkey. And
Some Pearl
be
Jam
safe,
too.
brother. So a little bit of hey, Eddie Vedder. That's always an option in
And
my books,
Nirvana.
brother.
Yeah.
Nirvana, of course. David, thank you so much for doing this, brother. Enjoy Seattle.
You got it. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers. There he is, David Alter, the lead Toronto Maple Leafs reporter for the Hockey News, and of course, site manager for the Hockey News. I mean, he's been at it for a long time. Like you said, Clark, he covered junior hockey very well for a number of years. He knows the whole circuit out there. You talk about Seattle and junior hockey, a lot of success and a lot of great players cranked out of that market. I don't know, brother. I don't know.
Ryan, let me just say, it's amazing what 5 games can do. Like this team was right there. They were 1 point. They were in a playoff spot.
Yeah,
6
they were
games
1
ago.
point clear of a playoff spot, and
now 5. Well, the Detroit game was a good game. Detroit's a good opponent. They lose in overtime, but to lose the way they've lost,
it was the only watchable game. It was the only watchable performance.
And like the Vegas game, like so disappointing, right? So disappointing.
Again, 2 evenings. Really 3 if you want to count the Colorado one. I'll tell you why the Colorado one should be lumped in there. And I know, you know what, producer Adam called me earlier this afternoon, wondered if we wanted to have him on. I said, I don't know if Clarkey can handle that right now.
I've been ignoring him.
But I know he did mention that. He said, I think
I have
Clarkey
a bunch of messages. He called me twice. And when he called me, I answered the phone. It's not that I didn't answer. I said, hello. And all I hear is like muffling in the background. I go, did you pocket dial me? And like nothing. So I hung up. And then I was about to pump gas. So I stopped my car. And just as I was stopping my car, the phone rang again. I'm like, I'm outside. It's minus 45 degrees here. I'm not answering the phone. And then he never called back. And he's been texting me, hey, can I come on tonight? Can I come on tonight? Well,
so I think
are we having him on? Is he there?
He's not here. We got a lot of stuff to cover here. We will get producer Adam back.
Did you tell him no? Because now he's
I was like, I don't think we can squeeze you in here. Clarkey's upset. Okay. We don't want to pile on this poor guy.
Well, he's going to blame you, then not me.
Yeah, you're right though. Let's start with Vegas. The thing about it, and we're going to get our buddy Steve Dangle on soon. Mm-hmm. His videos have just been, a firework factory. They've been
basically the same for 20 years.
I mean, to say it's just another game. I mean,
did you agree with me with Max Domi saying that? Like,
no, it's not just.
I agree. Man, it's not just another game. And don't say it. Don't say it's just another game. Because
David's right, though. David's right, though, Clarkey. He nailed it on the head. These guys, they say this regurgitated stuff as if it's in an effort. It's like they're not talking to the fans or the media. It's like they're talking to themselves. They're trying to tell it to themselves. It's just another game, Max. It's on us, Austin. It's not a big deal, William Nylander. They're saying it to themselves.
Did you see Mark Stone on the ice?
Yes.
Do you think he thought it was just another game?
No, and he
not
said
a chance. Much. I know. I know, and that's what ticks me off. And that's when I go back to Brad Treliving and his DNA comment. There's a problem. And I'm hey, and maybe Matthews is part of it, but there's definitely a problem. And I don't need to remind you how people tried to run Alex Ovechkin out of town before you guys won a cup, but you stuck with them.
There is the double-edged sword when you're talking about a star player like this, right? It's like,
right.
Do we cash out on this guy and possibly give up too soon? Or do we believe that this guy, in conjunction with some other players, is good enough of an engine to surround them and continue trying to kick at the door with them at the heart of it?
You have to.
Or are they just not competitive enough or driven enough on an ice rink, when it's April and May?
Like people talking about Bobby McMahon, goodbye. Someone's going to want Bobby McMahon. Someone's going to want him. Someone will want
Bobby
him.
McMahon to 5.
He's a very fast skater, third fastest in the league behind McDavid and
all right.
McKinnon.
Cool.
No, I'm just saying someone will want him, and you better trade
this
him.
Year at 1.5, 1.3, 1.3.
Better trade him.
They should trade him. Riley's
There's a list of guys. You have to retool this team.
Ekman Larson,
now.
you got to take guys.
Expiring. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to take guys and cash in and restock this cupboard. I think that's the number one priority.
And to me, it's not giving up on this season either. It's just retooling and let happen what happens this season. But you definitely can't add. You definitely have to restock. And
giving up is forward. Giving up is a tough term because, and
that's what I said.
These guys that you're paying these exorbitant contracts to, including, and I know for far less than what he made over the life of his time in Toronto, but including John Tavares, they gave John Tavares term. You should expect these guys to be able to perform better than this. And yes, that also takes a good bottom six and complementary pieces and a way better decor than what they have.
Yeah.
But that is the
John
trouble
Tavares
here.
Isn't the issue.
No, it's not just John Tavares.
He's the DNA they need.
Things. Well,
I'm not saying. I'm just saying he's the kind of player.
If they could clone his mentality 23 times,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they probably look a little different. And there is the multi-million-dollar question with a guy like Matthews wearing the C. Is he capable of doing the Yzerman thing, the Ovi thing, the Scott Stevens things, back in the New Jersey Devils days, the Crosby thing, although he got off to work pretty early winning championships, that guy in Pittsburgh. It's tough, man, because again, you look at LA, you look at Chicago, you look at Boston over the years, including last year when they kind of did what people are suggesting the Leafs are going to do. You look at that Capitals team, people are like, oh, the Capitals never gave up on guys. I'm like, I could run you down a long list. Mike Green, dude.
Mike Green. What was that other guy? I can't remember his name.
Alexander Semin.
Semin. He's the guy. Yeah.
Gone. Jason
He was
Arnott.
a dog, and they got rid of him. Very talented player. Very talented, but a dog.
He had an unbelievable season that one year. The year that the Capitals lost to Montreal in the first round when they were in first place.
Yeah.
And they lost to the 8th seed of Montreal. He had 85 points that year.
They did.
And eventually
you've
they
said
were
before, you've said it. The path.
There was a lot of change around Ovechkin and Backstrom. A lot. They kept Ovechkin and Backstrom.
Right. And to me, we keep Willie and we keep Matts. We keep Matthews. Yes. They're the two guys. Everyone else, the only guy I'll be disappointed to see go, and I think they will say goodbye, is Scott Laughton. Because he's another guy whose DNA is exactly what this team needs.
He's got some
Why he's playing 9 minutes a game, though, is beyond me. He definitely has value. He'll get a value back.
And he plays I would hope so.
For sure.
And he plays the right way. You wonder about a guy like Nick Waugh. I will get your opinion. I mean, you
Got it.
kind of stated it. Like Chris
Wow,
Pronger
whatever.
was on overdrive yesterday, and he
Yeah, I
said he
saw
would
that.
take it down to the studs. He says these guys don't have the heart, and Matthews is not the right guy. And
Yeah, you can't.
I
trade
don't know.
Matthews. Unless it's an unbelievable return. I don't see how you trade Matthews. I really don't.
Immediately, you can't win the trade because he's a guy that can score 60 goals. Like we've seen it. Does he ever do it again? I don't know. Does it matter? No, because like he did that. It's part of his resume, and
69.
he can still score at an incredible rate.
Yeah.
It's the biggest question facing this franchise right now. Is Matthews the guy for the next 5, 6, 7 years? Do we want to keep this guy into his 30s?
Mm-hmm.
Is he Steve Yzerman, or is he a guy that got moved? You know, like it's really, that is the number one crystal ball type of question that this franchise needs to ask themselves. Is he the right guy?
I think
I don't know.
I think they're not going to trade him. Is he the right guy? I don't know either.
They're
But
not
I
going to
do
trade
not.
him this year.
I don't think they'll move from him.
Certainly.
I don't think they'll move from him.
It's a hard thing to do, to like wait the amount of time that franchise waited to have a franchise type of talent,
Mm-hmm.
and then have him and then go, well, he's 29 and he doesn't do anything in the playoffs. Like, are we going to trade this guy? It's like, you can't win that.
I keep
that
thinking,
trade. You would not win.
No.
You would have to win by taking the assets you get from it and combining it with other smart drafting over a period of probably 3 to 5 years to be able to kind of do what Montreal has attempted to do and looks like it's working. Tampa and Colorado, like Tampa and Colorado get talked about a lot as big contenders. Think about where they were at in like the mid 2010s. Colorado finished with 38 points that one year.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about like nightmare fuel type stuff. Now they drafted well and did it.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how Montreal does. And I have a couple of Montreal Canadian friends at work who are all over me constantly. And I tend to remind them that the Leafs have had very, very successful regular seasons the last 9 years. And what's happened? Nothing.
But do you feel good about saying that?
I don't feel good about saying it. That's why I'm saying it with the Hab fans. They don't have a great defense, and they don't have really a star goaltender at all. So
goaltender, sure, but you would take their decor over the Leafs decor.
Yeah, probably. But
not probably.
I'm just saying. Have the best regular season. You be happy, brag about it, tell your friends, just like I did.
Well, don't brag about it.
No, you can brag about the regular season. Sure, go ahead. I was happy with the Leaf regular seasons, but it doesn't matter. I'm not interested in
bragging about regular seasons.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day, and I know that more than anybody. But it's just, I just don't want to think in 5 years I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, boy, that 2025 season was the one, and they crapped the bed in games 5 and 7. Mitch Marner was a no-show. He sat in front of his own bench with no sweat on him.
Not just him.
Stop. He sat in front of the bench with no sweat on him and told the guys to wake the F up. Give me a break.
Did the other guys have a bunch of sweat? Like, look,
I'm not talking about him.
I know that he was a big factor in that. The other guys, point totals in games 5, 6, and 7 are not good either.
It's just unreal how this team is. And that's what I said. Also, it is. How has this team gone from, I don't know, you don't want to admit it. Mike Johnson said it this morning on TSN radio. This team arguably could have been the second best team last year. They took the champs to 7 games. No one else did. And now they are awful. How did it happen?
I don't know, man. It's a weird combination of
big slide.
Poor management, poor draft asset management. Really what this is going to come down to is similar to what we talked with our friend Justin Pooney about last week with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. If they don't win, ultimately what we're going to look back on and say is those players were not good enough to get it done. That's what we're going to say. And that will be unfortunate because they are talented. We've seen many a talented player come through the NHL and light up the regular season and then not be able to get it done and lead a team to a championship. It's a hard thing to do. 32 teams now. No one's going to want to hear those excuses, though, in 10 years' time, when we look back and Austin Matthews is retired and go, boy, what a great player. But there will be a but in front of it.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And that sucks.
Yeah. There's a lot of butts and a lot of front of a lot of good players who are in the Hall of Fame. But you're right. It's unfortunate. It's a hard trophy to win. Boy, we thought we had a window there last few years to win it. And it just seems like the window is closed. That's what I look at. And I said it at the beginning of the year. I can't remember who we had on, but I just said, like, I'm worried that this window is closed.
When we were talking about with Paul Hendrick.
Right. Yeah.
It was Henny. And boy, and like Henny, like you talk about a guy that has perspective on this, like he covered a lot of bad Leafs teams, man. Like it's he covered some really good teams too. Of course he did. It's a tough one, buddy. It's a really tough one. And you uttered a sentence there that has me turning to my next topic, and I'm sure that you were wanting to ask me about this. As we shift our focus over to the world of football, which everybody, hey, the Super Bowl, the Patriots are going back. Everybody's excited about football. I'm sure that you were ready to ask me what my thoughts were on the debacle and embarrassment that the National Football League scene and particularly Canton, Ohio suffered the other day when it was revealed that Uncle Bill, old Uncle Bill Belichick, is not a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. I'm sure you saw it, Clarkey, and probably immediately thought of me. What did you think of this, man? Because I think this might be one of the most embarrassing Hall of Fame related sports debacles in the history of professional sports on this planet we call Earth.
I saw a picture of him with a ring on nearly every finger. This guy's won everywhere he's been.
And the show's over. Show's over. That's all we need to say.
Right. And the only reason he's not there is because he pissed people off on the way. It's not right. I'm just telling you, that's why. It's got to be. And no other explanation.
It's not right. There is no other explanation. Look at this. This is what Bill Belichick did for our viewers. Got a graphic up here of all the years there. You see all the division titles, the Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots. People forget that he was also the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants prior to taking the Browns head coaching job. And he won 2 Super Bowls there too.
Look at the records.
People don't give this guy any credit. I want to turn your attention particularly to 2008 there. 11-5. Their conference was so good that year, and they didn't have the extra divisional, the extra wild card game that exists now. They missed the playoffs with that 11-5 record. Tom Brady got hurt that year, the second snap of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Belichick almost made the playoffs with Matt Castle under center. Outside of everything else he did, this is so embarrassing, Clarkey. I genuinely can't believe it. And I know what else everybody's saying too. He made the media mad, whatever. We're not talking about like a Barry Bonds type of character here. Yeah, he didn't give you elongated 30-paragraph long answers for your morning sports column, okay? I know a lot of people in media, particularly road media, particularly in the state of New York, got sick of him going, yeah, it's all about our team, and we're just going to focus on us, and
it shouldn't matter.
Cincinnati, and
I can see cheating.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I can see cheating. And he's been accused of it a couple of times.
Clark, he hasn't been accused of it. He was
convicted of it.
He was convicted more than any other franchise or coach in the sports history. And
so is that the reason?
Well, I'm glad you called attention to that, because there was a segment on Fox Sports Radio where the host was going, "Oh, I'm glad that the sports writers stood up to Bill Belichick and didn't let him in." This is a quote tweet of that clip from the great Jimmy Johnson. You might recognize him if you're a football fan. He won all those championships in the 90s with the Cowboys.
I do. He's
And
now
I
on
quote,
TV.
if they're using the excuse of Spygate, that's ridiculous. Many teams, including ourselves with the Cowboys, tried doing it. Howard Mudd in Kansas City, who later coached for Bill Polian, former general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, that hateful franchise, frauds, and Tony Dungy, the great coach of the Indianapolis Colts, gave us the idea to try it. And by try it, he means taping the other team's defensive signals. He was the best. We didn't get anything out of it and stopped trying, but many teams across the league tried it. They got caught. We didn't.
Exactly. Didn't the Canadian soccer team too?
Now listen,
didn't they send a drone up or something?
Yeah, that was a weird thing. Like football is obviously very different because the signal. Now listen, I don't have time to dig into Spygate and all the. You can look it up and decide for yourself, I guess. Yeah. Here's what I'd say. People have joshed me for years about it, and I don't care because I love the New England Patriots. If you were to say to me, oh, well, he won those Super Bowls because he cheated, I'd maybe give you one. I'd think about giving you two. I'd raise a serious eyebrow at 3. 6? I would need to be there's not a whiskey in the world that would get me drunk enough to go, you're right, bro. He's shit. There's no
for sure
way.
For sure.
Plus the 2 as defensive coordinator with the Giants. This guy is the greatest defensive mind in NFL history, won over 330 games, second most playoff wins, the most Super Bowls by a long shot. I just cannot believe this. This is a serious stain on this league, this sport. And I know this is coming from Patriots guy. I get it. Everybody across football, Patrick Mahomes tweeted, J.J. Watt, fellow coaches that he beat in Super Bowls and many AFC champions. Peyton Manning, his brother, who didn't get in. Eli didn't get in his second year of eligibility. I think he will eventually. Everybody unanimously across the landscape of this sport, Clarkey, is going, how the hell did this happen? And there's a huge conspiracy running right now about Bill Polian and what's gone on here. Now, here's a statement from Patriots owner Robert Kraft on Bill Belichick being snubbed. I'll read it to you here. Whatever perceptions may exist about any personal differences between Bill and me, I strongly believe Bill's record and body of work speak for themselves. As the head coach of the Patriots for more than 2 decades, he set the standard for on-field excellence, preparation, sustained success. He's the greatest coach of all time. He unequivocally deserves to be a unanimous first ballot pro Hall of Famer. And that's Robert Kraft, who, I mean, at the end, the relationship was not great, you know, and Bobby Kraft is classy enough. Now, I did see, I wonder if you saw this, Clarkey, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, this scandal, and I'm calling it a scandal because it is, has reached such a level that the Hall of Fame has had to put an official statement out. They said the Pro Football Hall of Fame understands and respects the passionate reaction of many fans, media members, and enshrinees of the hall itself in light of published reports regarding the voting results for this year's class. The hall also respects members of the selection committee when they follow the selection process bylaws. It's an honor to serve as a selector. They also go on to say each year the hall reviews the process and the composition of the 50-person selection committee. You need 40 votes to get in. If it is determined that any member or members violated the selection process bylaws, they understand action will be taken, which could include that such selectors would not remain a member of the committee moving forward. That's the gist of the statement. The Pro Football Hall of Fame.
So are they investigating them?
I'm not sure, but that statement would kind of lead you to believe that there's some poking around.
Something's going on, or they wouldn't release a statement. They know they've made a mistake here, and they know the selection committee, whatever's happened there.
Now,
and like the thing too is like these selection committee members, are they outstanding human beings too? I'd love to know.
Clark, yeah, I can't answer that.
I know we can't answer that because they're not in the limelight like Bill Belichick is. And
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean. Here's the thing. It's terribly unfair. The conspiracy theory going around is everybody, the second this news dropped, which shocked everybody, and once the shock wore off, people, of course, unearthed the fact that Bill Polian, longtime member of the Indianapolis Colts front office, and we all remember that was quite a rivalry in the 2000s. Peyton and Tom, Tony Dungy and Bill Polian, like it was a whole thing, okay? Everybody has drawn up this conspiracy theory that Bill Polian hates Bill Belichick so much that he encouraged other members to not vote for him. Now, that is a extremely serious accusation. It's a heinous rumor at this point. I personally, as much as I do not like Bill Polian and the way he went about some of his business, I personally would like to believe that he would not be so petty a person as to do something like that. But the mind wonders, how could something so ridiculous like this happen where 11 people on this board that are electing people to the most prestigious room in the history of this sport could come up with that the greatest coach ever for most people, I think, is not a first ballot. I don't care about unanimous, although he should be. How he's not in on the first ballot is absolutely crazy. And unfortunately for this sport, which much like hockey, NCAA basketball right now, numerous college sports with betting scandals, it's littered with controversies right now, Clarkey. And this is just one more. It's like they can't help themselves. They invite this type of discourse.
They do.
And this literally would be like if Sidney Crosby didn't get in on the first ballot.
It's crazy.
You would
Scotty Bowman.
Scotty Bowman. Yeah, that's actually a better comparison.
Sure. Yeah. 9
cups as a head coach.
That's the guy I think of when I think of Bill Belichick on the hockey side. Scotty Bowman.
Imagine what you would be doing. Scotty got elected in the early 90s.
Probably. I can't remember.
Didn't he? Or no, because he was still coach. He was coach of that Red Wings team in 2002. He went directly in. Imagine what you would have been doing with your colleagues at the Fan if it came down the wire. Yes, Scotty Bowman, he's not going to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Imagine the desk flipping that would be occurring. I
honestly don't understand why the Buffalo Bills didn't hire him.
Yeah, okay, so I can wrap my head around. Bill's
you want to win? You want to win.
Some people don't, Chris.
Let's just bring in the offensive coordinator and make him the head coach. How's that?
Some people don't want to win.
I love that
Chris.
Bills franchise.
I think some people don't want to win, or they don't want to win at the cost of it being something that's not them at the heart of it.
The cost.
There's a lot of egos.
Is the best thing there.
Sorry?
The cost.
Yes.
The cost. It would have cost them a lot of money to hire Bill Belichick.
Well, not only that, but I think that Terry Pegula and Brandon Beane are so full of themselves and think that they're the smartest people in the room. And Terry, to be fair, throws a lot of money at this stuff. Okay. Like you can't fault him for that. But what I would say, I mean, we are talking about a guy that gassed the entire European scouting staff of the Buffalo Sabres, which is incredible. I digress.
That's how he made his
Harry
billions.
Pagula
Billions.
is the smartest person in the room when it comes to fracking and natural gas and oil.
Mhm.
Yes, I would love to hear your advice and thoughts on the oil and gas industry, Terry.
Sure.
I get the feeling that he thinks that he also knows football and knows hockey.
Any
and he
owners
goes,
like that?
a lot of owners aren't. They let their people do it. Robert Kraft is a prime example of that. He let, as much as there's a discourse of, oh, him and Bill at the end, he let Bill do whatever he wanted for 22 years.
Mhm.
Like, that's what happened. Okay. So I just sit there and I look at stuff like that and go, I think that those two guys would never let a guy like Bill Belichick, who would want full autonomy like he had with the Patriots, come in and make decisions, because God forbid the Bills won with him, everyone would turn and go, those two guys over there had nothing to do with that. It was all Bill.
You don't think
And
they
they
would
don't
just be
want that.
happy that they won? You
No,
think that?
I don't.
Well, there's the problem.
I don't.
That's the problem then.
Well, yeah. I would argue, as a guy that's
If your ego is too big to not want to win with whoever is in charge, then you should just
Chris, I mean, you know, we're talking, dude, you lived through it for years with Harold Ballard. We can't have Daryl Sittler around here. We can't pay that guy. We got to get rid of that guy. Also, my God, I mean, it's just to jump quickly back to hockey. How bad was that for Daryl the other? Like, you couldn't get up and get something done for Daryl, my mom's favorite hockey player of all friggin' time.
It reminds
guys.
me of the Joe Bowen game against Chicago. They played 8 minutes.
They
for that
won.
game. They won because Chicago's not good. That's why they won. But yeah, I know it's just another game. Just another game. No, it's just another game. I know you guys in the media want to make this out to be a big game, but it's just another game. Just another game. It's just like a preseason.
And it's just
game
another show, brother.
It's just like a preseason game or third game of the season on a Tuesday night against Utah. It's the same kind of thing. No, it's not.
It's just another show. I'm phoning this in. It's just another show. We'll get them next week. I'll do better for our Rogers viewers next week. It's just another show. We only had David friggin' Alter on. What a beauty. Great to catch up with him live from Seattle. What a beauty David Alter is to jump on with us right in front of Climate Pledge. It's a good looking building.
Yeah.
We should I would love to go there someday.
And as I said, David and I go way back to Junior Hockey Magazine days, and I met him at the Joe Bowen night. Again, we chatted for quite a bit. I said, "Hey, would you come on my show?" He goes, "Absolutely. You can tell me when, and I'm there." So there we go. It was perfect timing. He's out in Seattle, 3:30 in the afternoon, whatever time we recorded today. 7, 6, 3. Yeah, 3 in the
like just
afternoon.
around 6. So yeah,
3 in
3
the
o'clock
afternoon.
there.
Yeah. So yeah,
Plenty of
he's a
time to hit a
beauty. He's a beauty, and I
Starbucks
thank him for doing that. Yeah.
Awesome guy. We'll have him on again too, because I mean, there are very few people that are more tapped in than that dude when it comes to covering the Leafs. He's been doing it for a long time, doing a great job. Follow him, please, at David Alter. And again, you can follow him at David Alter 35 on TikTok and Instagram if you want to kind of have a gander at content that means a lot to me. The media meal rooms.
The media meal segment.
The
is
rankings.
Awesome. I love it. I watch it every day. Every
high
game.
quality stuff.
Yeah, every game.
It's high
Please
quality
watch it. Please watch it. It's fun.
It's
just
really,
fun.
really good.
If you think watching a guy eat is fun, it's fun. Did we talk about
myself
Bo
do it all the
Bichette
time.
at all?
We haven't talked about Bo. You got something you want to say about Bo? We got a minute left
No,
here.
but I think the Jays failed. They didn't get either guy.
Time's gonna tell, man. They can get the
I
Dylan
think the Bo
Ceases.
Bichette
They can.
news came down last week, didn't it? Just after or am I a week off here?
It was
I know
2
it
weeks ago.
It broke right after our show, and then last
know.
week we didn't talk about it. Who we have on last week?
Because we were sitting there going, well, we had Doigie on, remember, and we had Justin Pooney. It was the week prior.
Yeah, it was.
And we were talking a little bit about baseball and just oh boy,
we had Demers.
Looks like the Mets are going to sign him and play him at third base, and then lo and behold, there he is, and it's strange.
Yeah, we had Demerge on
stuff. Yeah, we had Demerge, and he was saying that he'd like the Yankees to try and get him. Well, they're not gonna. They did get Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger's going to come back, so I'm sure Demerge is happy about that. Yeah, man, baseball offseason. There's still some good free agents left, too. Like,
go get them,
there's,
Jays. Sure.
There's some business to be done yet. It'll be It'll be interesting. And I think everybody's focus right now, though, in our neck of the woods is on the business that the Leafs are going to have to do soon here, because holy
I was
cow.
trying to deflect that.
Weird stuff, dude. All right. We appreciate our
let's
friend
have a
David
4-0
Alter.
4-0 road trip.
Let's have a
We're
4-0
right back
road
in
trip
it.
for Clarkey.
We're right back in it. We're going to be buyers.
Remember, you can watch this show on Rogers TV. You can watch this on YouTube. Find us on all your favorite podcast apps. We will be back next week with more of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury.
Go Leafs, go.